Hello guys, it's Shrimp Time here and welcome in yet another, I hope, interesting video about shrimp keeping. Today we are going to talk about feeding shrimps with another natural product which can be very interesting in feeding shrimps. So if you would like to know what is it, what is this unusual thing that you can see in my tank, stay tuned. So as you know, feeding shrimp is very important topic for me, and it's very important topic for good shrimp development, good shrimp breeding, and generally making our shrimps to feel very good in our tanks. As you know, I produce my own shrimp food. I try to experiment with different recipes, but I also love to feed shrimps with natural products. And this type of product which I'm testing is SCOBY. This is a very interesting thing which tend to develop when we are trying to make kombucha, a very popular and healthy drink. As you can see, it has consistency of a jelly. It's a bit brownish, and it might be a good food for a shrimp. So we'll try to see how the shrimps will react when we are feeding with this type of food. And in this video I'll try to give you some interesting information about using SCOBY as shrimp food, and how did my shrimps react to this type of food. As you can see at the beginning, the reaction of the shrimp might not be so promising, but after a couple of minutes the shrimp tend to show more and more interest in this type of food. There's a very important factor that can be useful when we are feeding with SCOBY, and it's making a little parts of the SCOBY, because the big part, as you can see here, can be very difficult for shrimps to feed on. They will have problems to separate these tiny parts of SCOBY for themselves. And you would ask why I'm preferring to look for this type of natural food for the shrimps. And the answer is very easy. In my opinion, this is the healthiest and the best type of food that we can give to our shrimps, because it's living food. It's produced in the way that we know it was produced. But before we will go to the rest of this topic, guys, I would like to say thank you to all of my subscribers, all of my supporters, and every and each of you that leave a thumb up under the video, that subscribe my channel, that comment my channel, and that support me here on YouTube and Patreon. So getting back to our SCOBY topic, how it's produced, because this is very important thing. It's very easy to make because you only need tea, sugar, water, and the starter SCOBY. Not only this type of shroom, but also some of existing kombucha. You can even buy a organic kombucha in the shop, and you can start your own colony of kombucha bacteria and yeast, so that you will be able to make it by yourself without having the shroom. The very important factor is the answer, what is the shroom? Because a lot of people will say that the shroom is a culture of living in symbiotic way bacteria and yeast, and it's only partial true. This type of shrimp will be developed during the process of fermentation, and the yeast and bacteria will create this separation layer between the outside world in your jar and your jar, so that they will have better and better environment to make the fermentation process. And this type of separation is made out of cellulose. It's a complex sugar, and I know that there are a lot of researchers that say that complex sugars aren't that good for the shrimps, but as you can see in this video, the shrimps feed on this type of jelly, of layers of SCOBY, and they show interest in the SCOBY. And you need to remember that not only it has the cellulose layers, but I think there are also attached the bacteria and the yeast to the SCOBY, so that you see here not only the cellulose but also the bacteria and the yeast that created this type of food. As you can see, the bigger parts of SCOBY can be hard for shrimps to separate, and if you are trying to feed the shrimps with SCOBY, for me the better way is to tear it in little parts, so the shrimps will have easier job with separating the food and with feeding on the food. Another very interesting thing about SCOBY is that it can be stored very easily without any big issue, because you can put it in the jar with fermented tea and it will last you for a long time. So the last thing very important about SCOBY, which I need to mention, is that when you are making a SCOBY for the shrimps, you are also making kombucha for yourself. So if you like the kombucha, I think that you can connect these two aspects in developing a great food for the shrimps and making a fantastic kombucha for yourself. There is also one more thing I would like to mention. At the beginning of this video, I told you that it is very important to try to make natural food for the shrimp. Try to control the type of food that you will put to your shrimp tank. And this is the rule that is very important for me. I think that we cannot control in 100% the things that the producers of food will put into the food. And the best way to feed your shrimps is feeding them with the products that you know that are good for the shrimps. And if we can feed with living products, and don't get me wrong, the SCOBY itself is made from cellulose, so it's not living. There are layers of cellulose making this separation, but I think that there are also bacteria and yeast attached to this type of SCOBY. So similarly, like with lubao, with SCOBY you will have living food for your shrimps, and the shrimps will love this type of food. As you can see, they show a lot of interest in this type of food when it's put in the tank, especially if we got thin layers. I think that you can try feeding shrimps with SCOBY. I'm also experimenting with the tea itself, and I try to put a little bit of highly acidic kombucha tea to the tank, trying to see if the bacteria and yeast that are in the liquid will also benefit the shrimps, but it's only experimenting right now. So maybe in future, in another video, if you will subscribe this channel, I will be able to tell you the results of my experimentation. As you can see, shrimps are enjoying this type of food, and I think it's very interesting to watch them feeding on the food. I would also love to say a big thank you to one of my viewers which suggested to use the SCOBY as shrimp food, because she was a person that loves kombucha, and she tried to put the SCOBY to the shrimp tank, and she noticed that shrimps love the SCOBY and love the kombucha bacteria that are in the SCOBY. Will it make a place for a still diet in my shrimp tanks? I'm not sure. I need a little bit of time to observe. I know that the best two types of food that I will use is a lubao bacteria, which grow on the back, and this type of food that you can see in this video. And if you are interested in more information about successfully keeping shrimps, please subscribe to my channel, and also you can watch this video, because here I will show you an easy setup to keep shrimps and easy rules to make your shrimp happy. So I hope that you enjoy this video, and remember guys, keep on shrimping.